Alejandro, my man.
Talk to me, brother.
Thanks, bro. All right, so first thing I want to touch on today, all right, multifamilies.
Yep.
So I hear a lot from a bunch of people, right, at the end of the day that it's not a good time to buy in this market. Rather, that single families, multifamilies, pretty much every property out there.
Mm-hmm.
But for starters, I want to just focus on multifamily buildings, right? Do you personally think, and I can touch on this as well, is it still a good investment? Is it still a good time to buy? Or should you be running and waiting?
The numbers don't lie, right?
All right.
You know the saying, people lie, numbers don't lie. The answer just goes back, let's stick to the fundamentals, let's do an analysis, let's figure out those numbers. I personally prefer multifamilies, especially if your concern, a legitimate one, is, hey, what if prices drop? I don't want to buy at the top of the market. Right? Nobody wants to overpay for any product or service, right? But if there is a long-term, tangible benefit and growth potential, why would you second guess it, right? So the numbers is what's going to give you the confidence in it, right? First of all, you won't get a loan if you can't afford it.
True.
So we got to look at your documentation. What's your income been like for the last 24 months? What's your current paycheck and year to date? What are your assets? So you don't have to even worry about, I don't want to pay too much for a house. If you can't afford it, you can't get it.
True.
Right? So multifamilies, what do I like about it? It's a business. It's got additional income. You're going to have your tenants helping you pay for your asset. Don't think about it, I'm buying a house or a property. I'm buying an asset. I'm buying a business. And you're doing a partnership with the bank, which is all in your favor. Think about it. You're supposed to do 20-80, a 20-80 split. I mean, if I came up to you and said, Austin, my man, there's an opportunity for us to buy this commercial space. It's a slash barbershop slash hair salon. We get all the equipment's $100K. Go ahead and put up $80,000. I'm going to put up $20,000. We're going to share this. Would you do that with me?
It sounds like a terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Why? Because you putting up 80 is the majority of the risk. That's what the bank's asking you to do. Do 80-20, you get the keys, you live in a house, you collect the rent, and if you sell for a profit in the future, that's all yours.
Right.
But then most people will take advantage as a first-time home buyer of lower down payment, as little as 3.5%. So then I come back to you and say, Austin, okay, come on, man, I really want to buy my first property, my first business. I've never had a business. I don't even have a lot of money.
Yeah.
What if I put down just $3,500 and you put up 96.5? Would you consider it?
Would I?
Right, you're looking at me like I'm a fool.
100%.
Right? That's insulting to your intelligence.
Yeah.
But that's what we're telling the bank. This person's buying their first property, just 3.5% down. Go ahead and lend them 96.5. That's risky. That's why we need 24 months documentation to show that you can comfortably and responsibly pay that money that the bank's lending you, and there's a lower risk to them.
Yeah.
But more importantly, what's the guarantee here? Well, I know that if I keep renting, I get no return on my investment.
Yeah.
I can expect my rent to go up over time because the cost of gas, electric, water, sewer, and taxes will go up for the landlord.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's just inevitable at some point. Meanwhile, if I own the property, over time, wages should come up, those rents will come up, and my asset is self-sufficient, paying for itself. It's making me money, it's appreciating this equity. 100%. I'm going to get a return on my investment.
Right.
And this concern that people are feeling right now, it's not the first time in history that we're feeling this. All right? Let me tell you a quick story that relates it, and it puts it into perspective. My parents came from South America, Medellin, Colombia, to be specific.
Okay.
In the late 70s, over 40 years ago at this point. And you know what conversations they were having at the time? Same ones as now. They're saying, I'm not paying that house for 30 years. By the time I'm done paying it, I would have paid it 3 times over with the interest.
It's fair. All right.
Who's going to pay $25,000 for a 3-family for the next 30 years? That's ludicrous. The numbers are different today, but the concept is the same. The arguments are the same.
Right.
Who's going to pay that? That's high. That's too much.
Yeah.
Right? But those who did buy, who didn't listen to the noise and the distraction, who weren't amplifying the cynical point of view and understood that an asset is an asset, and I'm going to have housing expenses anyway, why not put it into something that's mine, where eventually it gives me a cost of a return on my money,
Right.
ROI.
Yep.
COI is what's the cost of that investment, or what's the cost of not making that investment,
Yep,
right?
1000%.
So what's the true cost of real estate, man? What's the true cost of not investing?
True.
And so those who did buy it, guess what? They probably paid off their houses a lot sooner. You know why? Rents went up and wages went up over time.
Yeah.
And those who figured out bought multiple properties. Fast forward 40 years later, they have retired. They're probably collecting $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 worth of rent free and clear on top of their Social Security pension and any other investments that they might have made with IRAs, 401ks, etc. So
Right.
they're very comfortable. Or they're cashing out on these properties they bought for 30, 50,
That's for
60,000, probably getting, 400, 500 for it. And now they got money.
Right.
Legacy wealth for their children, setting up trust funds, paying off college, retiring, moving down south, moving to other countries, flying around the world. Central America right now is a hot destination for retirees. Belize, Honduras, even Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. I mean, my man,
Yeah.
the rules are the same. We've played Monopoly. 4 greenhouses, red hotel. Monopoly taught us the winner of the game is the one who owns the real estate and puts up houses.
Yeah. That's for sure.
My man.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
I get it. There's uncertainty right now, but really it's a sense of urgency. You know what other conversation they were having back then? It's very relevant right now. Gas prices.
Crazy.
Gas prices were high at the time. My father tells me it was less than $1 a gallon, and there it was high. They're like, 89 cents for a gallon of gas. Can you believe that? This is ridiculous. Before you know it, one day we'll be paying $2.50 a gallon. Yeah. And I'm gonna make a prediction right now. Nostradamus. Here we go.
Let's go.
By 2030, gas prices will be no less than $4 a gallon.
Jeez. It's a prediction right there.
All right?
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to see more electrical vehicles on the road. Hybrids, Teslas, and competitive vehicles to Tesla on the road.
All right. Interesting.
Mark my words.
Guess we'll find out. So,
But I'm not trying to make a mockery. My point is that we knew this moment was coming, my man.
yeah.
It's the analogy of I've been in line waiting to place my order.
Yeah.
The menu's up there. I've been on the phone distracting myself on social media, looking at reels, liking and sharing and commenting on nonsense. 5 people ahead of me, and they're like, next, can I take your order? And I haven't even looked at the menu. I still don't know what to order. Like, my man, what have you been doing this whole time?
Right. Yeah. What are you waiting for?
You knew the road ends right there and there's no bridge. Why didn't you stop building the bridge? Why didn't you detour? Can't say I didn't know. That's not an excuse. Not today when everyone's got a mobile device. Like legit everyone.
Yeah.
Older people have Facebook. Little kids have phones. I didn't have a phone. We had to go to payphone
Yeah.
and make a phone call or use collect call. So you have a phone. It's more than just a phone. It's a tool.
100%.
If I have a hammer, I can hammer nails and build stuff, or I can hammer my thumb.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's for
So
sure.
it's a tool. Use it as a tool to learn. You don't even have to go to the library during library hours. You got this 24/7 on the toilet. Come on, let's be honest.
Right.
All right? You can be learning skills. You can be perfecting your skills. You can be acquiring new skills. You can be elevating your game, your intelligence, your outlook, and your perspective. Now, I'm sure most of us have heard these things at some point.
Right.
We read it, we heard it, we saw it, somebody referenced it.
Yep.
But why didn't it take root? Why hasn't a tree sprung with branches and all this nice, delicious fruit, low-hanging fruit that we can eat and then just taste the opportunity, taste the freedom, taste the fact that we are in the most fertile land in this side of the hemisphere, known as the United States of America.
1000%.
Loaded with opportunity. When I lived in Miami, nobody was making rafts and plotting to go to Cuba. Okay? As last time I checked, everyone along the border of Mexico is trying to come into the United States for opportunity, for refuge, for protection.
For sure.
So why are those of us who are fortunate enough to be here not capitalizing on those opportunities and jumping on making excuses about gas prices? Look, We can't control that, regardless of which party is in power. That's just economics. This has been happening. There is a finite supply of oil. I knew this in the 80s when I was in elementary school. I understood this over time, that supply and demand says, as supply goes down and demand remains high, prices go up.
Right.
So that's what we've seen happen in real estate. When I was a young kid, I needed $1.25 to buy a gallon of milk at the local Cumby. That's Cumberland Farms for all of you who don't know. How much is a gallon of milk now?
$4 or $5.
Right. It's
Who knows? Yeah,
$1.25.
it's crazy.
Why? Because your dollar lost value. The purchasing power of your dollar lost value because there's something that's eating away at your dollar every day. It's not safe in your checking account. It's not safe in your savings. It's called inflation, which right now is at about 7%. All right? So if you didn't invest it into anti-inflationary alternatives, assets,
Right.
like precious metals, cryptocurrency, stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, universal whole life insurance that's compound interest, real estate, you can't complain about your purchasing power going down
Right.
if you didn't take action, if you didn't do something.
So why do you think, though, out of curiosity, what makes you think? All right, everyone knows this, right? The assets, buy property, whether it's a rental or single, and just let it appreciate over time. Why do you think a lot of people know this stuff, but they don't actually do anything with it?
It's your circle, man.
Yeah?
It's your circle. I mentioned earlier about the seeds were planted, but maybe not in a fertile land or fertile mind. But you can change how fertile your mind is and its ability to nourish and feed an idea to become this tree that creates shade and feeds everyone else around you. It's your circle.
Yeah.
If you're going after work with your friends to talk about basketball stats, about sales, about Gucci, and all this other crap that doesn't matter, rather than understanding the idea that was planted into you so that it can flourish and create opportunities, it's your circle, man. We become the average of the 5 people we spend time with, of the 5 things that we consume. That's music and movies too. So the kind of movies you're watching affect your brain's chemistry and its ability of what it believes to be reality.
For sure.
The music you're hearing does the same thing. See, as children, it's not even so much what we're telling them, it's what they're observing in the atmosphere, the environment, the culture that we've exposed them to and create for them. The messaging that we tell our kids is one thing, but what they're seeing us do is another. So if your friends have not normalized talking about solving problems, but instead talking about problems and whose problem is worse, and all of you, that ain't nothing. You should have seen what happened to me. Yeah. Oh my God, this at work today. I swear I can't. Like, yo, stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that. And if you want a different reality for yourself, then you need to take responsibility and change that reality. And sometimes that means saying bye-bye to certain friends because you've outgrown them. And you shouldn't be apologetic about it. You shouldn't be feeling bad about it. It may hurt and it may sting because you appreciate that individual for the memories you created. But if you outgrew them or outgrew the relationship, the friendship, because this is where you need to go and that person's an anchor holding you back, you got to let go. If not, you're going to wake up at 60, 70, or 80 years old and you're going to be that stereotype grumpy old man. Those individuals, the statistics have told us, and I don't know because I haven't verified this, but it makes sense, is most people's regrets on their deathbed is to all the things they didn't do.
For sure.
All the things they didn't say and all the places they didn't go. Like, what are we waiting for? Again, today, what's going on around us is a sense of urgency. You feel uncertainty. That's normal. We're afraid of what we don't know. So we need to know what we don't know. And we can do that by using the tool, that mobile device, and our phone. So we keep distracting ourselves, feeding our brains chemistry with dopamine and serotonin and all these other endorphins by distracting ourselves with people twerking and dancing and fighting and all this other crap, as opposed to finding ways to break the cycle of poverty, which is mental, emotional, and financial. It's like doing the same crap over and over again, expecting different results. 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4.
Right. So
1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. But you need that number to be 5, 8, 12, 16, or something exponential. You got to change the equation, the formula.
Right.
That means changing friends. That means changing the books you read. That means changing the music you listen to, the movies, the culture, your work, whatever it is, your environment. The one thing that's going to be difficult to change is your family, because you were born into your family. You didn't choose that.
Right.
But if you got to limit your interaction with certain people in your family, you got to do it.
Gotta do it.
Because it's your mental wellness, it's your mental health that's important.
Right.
It's your future you're creating, it's your legacy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to take responsibility. Stop complaining. Where attention goes, energy flows, and energy will amplify it. Emotion is energy in motion. That's why it's so powerful. And you got to be kinetic about it, intentional, and that's magnetic. You will attract the right people into your life.
Yeah.
You're talking solutions, you attract people who are drawn to providing solutions to problems. But you're talking about misery. Misery likes company.
That's
man.
for sure. Yeah.
My man. So you got to take action.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So people hear this. You've heard it before. You're hearing it again. I'm sure I'm not the first one telling you, unless you're 5 years old and you've never heard this before. But you acquire this bank of information in your head, it does you no good unless you implement it. You take some action. You have to apply it.
So you think that's the ultimate key right there is just knowing it? Are you thinking people are just lacking taking the action? You know, where do you think people are? Because everyone knows this, right? Everyone hears it.
Yeah, it's the action part, man.
Just not taking the action, maybe fear of something or scared of what the other side will look like, maybe.
Absolutely. There's a great analogy I've heard, which is, and I'm gonna expand on my version of it, but think about it. You and I and anybody right now can get in a car at 12 o'clock midnight with no lights and only drive at night when the sun has gone down.
Okay.
Leave Fall River, leave Boston, leave New England, leave Providence, and work our way over to Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
And we will get there. Only driving in the dark. Why is that? Because the vehicle has headlights that lets us see 5-10 feet ahead of us, maybe 15 or 20 max.
Yeah.
But as long as we keep moving forward, we'll keep seeing the next couple of feet.
That's true.
With enough time to pivot, to adapt.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Just driving at night time, we can go cross country. Take it a step further, we got tools to even make it more easier, like a GPS on my mobile device.
Yeah. It's crazy.
We don't have to do the old thing back in the day where we had to grab maps and map it out.
Yeah.
Or MapQuest, I had to log into that and print it out. Or memorize directions. Or look for landmarks. Your GPS will tell you. And if you take the wrong turn, it will recalculate.
Right.
You just gotta do it. It's difficult. As simple as riding a bike. It's terrifying the first time around. I want to keep my training wheels.
Right. No.
Right? But it's not difficult. You know, the difficult part is not riding the bike. It's just getting on the bike and beginning
Just
to
going.
do it.
You just got to go.
Anything that we do right now was probably hard at one point, and it's become easy to the point where we drive cars while talking on the phone, drinking a beverage, and maybe even listening to a podcast at the same time.
Yeah.
And we got to our destination. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So having a little bit of resistance, apprehension, that's normal.
Right.
But you need coaches around you. You need mentors around you. You need cheerleaders around you. And if your friends are not coach, mentors, and cheerleaders, you need to find coach, mentors, and cheerleaders.
Right.
Because if not, they're going to tell you the same thing. Oh, that's crazy. Don't buy a house. That's too expensive, man.
Right.
You know, that's just crazy. Oh, that's ridiculous. That's risky.
Right.
No,
of course, you'll hear it all.
You know what's risky? What's risky is spending the next 40, 50 years of your life working 40, 50 hours a week to retire on 40, 50% of what you've been making the whole time because you never made any investments into a 401k, an IRA, or any other asset classes, especially buying real estate.
Right.
The wealthiest people in our country tend to be self-made millionaires through real estate.
Yeah, the real estate. Yep.
And even those who made money from winning the lottery, from a God-given talent, those who still have money in the future is because they invested it in real estate. Right. They bought multi-unit building apartments. They bought several pieces of real estate, whether it was land or single families or a combination
Any
of commercial
commercial,
spaces.
could be anything.
Right.
Yeah.
They sustain their wealth. Too many athletes go broke.
Right.
Too many celebrities go broke because they're flexing
Right.
with Lamborghinis
Yeah.
and gold chains
Yeah.
and spoiling their friends. Come on, man. That's just foolish.
Yeah.
The wealthiest people we know, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, the household names that we know. I don't think I ever seen any of them sporting Gucci belt,
Yeah.
Chanel.
Definitely not.
If anything,
Just-
they dress so simple.
Yeah.
Black t-shirt, simple sweater,
Yeah. Some Nikes and they're
Simple.
good.
jacket,
Yeah.
simple suit.
Right.
Because they're just not moved by it. Look at Jay-Z.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Some people have
huge.
been making that point. The guy's one of the wealthiest icons of our culture
Yeah.
in hip-hop, an innovator, artist, entrepreneur. Early version of Jay-Z wore gold chains.
Yeah.
Fit the stereotype.
And all the nice cars and all that
But
kind of
as he
stuff.
broke from that, my man just puts anything on and still looks great.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to flex and tell us he's rich, wealthy, or a billionaire. You see
True.
what I'm saying? So are we becoming poor by trying to keep up with the Joneses and impress our neighbors and other people around us who are not going to take care of us anyway?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I've
that's
never
huge.
seen it happen in my life. And if it has, man, I wish I would have witnessed it. Where somebody's like, my man, I like this that you're wearing. Let me set you up for life.
Yeah. Doesn't happen.
Let me give you these gifts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let me take care of your bills. Make sure there's a roof over your head because you look sharp right now.
Right. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's just not realistic at the end of the day.
Happening. So it's just important to really be aware of what you're doing. And,
Right.
and I think even those of us who know it could be guilty of not being self-aware of the fact that you might be distracted
Right.
and engaging and participating in unconstructive conversations.
Yeah.
There needs to be a sense of urgency because time, there's only so much of it. There's no guarantee we have tomorrow.
Right.
There's no guarantee that you're going to have that opportunity in the future. We assume, we hope so, but there's no guarantee.
Yeah, there's no guarantees.
There's no
Right.
guarantee. You need to have a sense of urgency. For those who have been waiting for the last 2-3 years, because we're going to wait, house prices are high. They've only continued to appreciate 16, 18, 20%, and even higher in certain pockets of the country. For a number of variables that have accelerated the effects of supply and demand. If I make a very good income and now I can work remotely, maybe I don't want to keep paying top dollar for a studio in the city, and I'm willing to commute 45 minutes to an hour and own a good chunk of real estate.
Right.
A bigger house, have more space for the fraction of the monthly cost
Right.
because I'm getting rental income. And now I understand that every weekend that I spend partying and drinking and just blowing money away on nonsense, it's money that I can put to work for me to buy back the time that I've been trading at work Monday through Friday.
Right. Right. To get all the money in the first place.
Like people throw these things out. I want to be a millionaire. Do you really want to be a millionaire, or are you just trying to spend $1 million?
Right.
Because that's two different things.
Big difference. Yeah.
Are you willing and committed to become the person you need to become to be a millionaire? That doesn't just happen with a number of zeros in your bank account.
Right.
You got to win in your head to get ahead.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Being poor and being broke is a mindset. Being broke and being poor is a circle.
Right.
If you don't like that circle, if you don't like the fruit of that tree, you got to change that circle.
You gotta go somewhere else. 100%.
Go get a new seed and put it in a new fertile land.
Right.
If your soil is corrupted and toxic, my man, you got to clean that over and turn it around.
Right. It's like people say, right? It's like if you're in a room with all your friends and you're the most successful and the most happy in the room, you probably need a new room, right? Because you're gonna, right? It's like the temperature gauge. I forget who said it, but they said, right? It's like a thermostat on a wall, right? And whatever the thermostat's set at, the room will adjust, right? So if you're in a room with all your friends, right, and they're partying every weekend and blowing all their money, and you're out grinding on the weekends and doing all this stuff, but then you keep hanging out with those friends, their thermostat level will slowly increase, right? And you'll get closer to theirs, right? It's kind of just goes to show that it's super critical of like who you surround yourself by.
Absolutely.
Even if they're, right, your best friends, your family, and all that stuff. It's like that sacrifice, I guess you could say. That's how I think of it, right? It's like a sacrifice of, hey, I want my life to be here. I got to let go of some things, even though it hurts, so I can get to here. Right? Would you agree with that? Does that?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It certainly makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure we've experienced that to some degree, whether we are aware of it or look at retrospectively and realize it. You know, there are a lot of people with a lot of potential right now. And if you remember science, potential is if I have this object at this high level, it's got all this potential energy that we're going to see it when it falls down.
Okay.
You know? Or vice versa. There's a potential energy. But when we talk about it between individuals, having potential means it's just there. Unleash it.
Right.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it fly.
Yeah.
You're not a bird in a cage. And if you are, open the cage.
Yeah. You can do it.
Rip the cage open. Figure it out.
Right.
You know, there's an innate characteristic in the nature of our DNA to thrive and survive. I don't have any children of my own, but I'm witnessing the little ones growing up in my family, my niece, my nephews, and I'm just blown away by the development of this vulnerable little person.
Right.
Right, which is almost like a carbon copy of my brother and his wife. And they're hungry. Yeah. And I don't mean like hungry, I need to eat. They're exploring the world around them. You can see it with their eyes and how they tilt through the noises. They're registering, their brain is recording and making associations with sounds and who's in the safe zone of this circle, who can I trust, right? And then now they're at the age, the little one, where they're trying to walk. And it's just phenomenal. Nobody told her it's time to walk. Right. It's just in her. Right. She just started pushing herself up and testing the strength of her little tiny legs that never supported the weight of her own body. Right. And just like realizes they need to balance. They're not even talking yet. Yeah. But you can see all the thinking that's going on and all the coordination that's happening. Yeah. How comprehensive it is. And what's everyone else doing at that point? We're cheering her on. Yeah. We're not saying, no, don't stand. That's risky. You might fall. Right. You're going to get hurt. No, sit down. Be a good little baby. Yeah. We're cheering her on. Right. We're clapping. And she's registering. This is a good thing. And they're cheering me on. I got cheerleaders. I got coaches. I got mentors.
Yeah. Got the support.
And she's now walking around on her own two little legs, and now she's exploring some more. Yeah. Right? Pretty soon she's going to be running. Yeah. Why did we stop running? Why did we stop being hungry and explore? Why did we stop seeking to improve? If a child is doing it, why did we stop? What changed? What happened? Who took away our dream? Who got in the way of our potential? Who are the people in our circle? Are they encouraging us? Are they helping us break through the glass ceiling, break down the walls, putting us on good shit? My man, this is how you need to eat to feed this machine so you can live a long, prosperous, and healthy life. Yeah. You think eating healthy right now is expensive? My God, imagine what it's going to be like when you're sick and you have to buy medicine and get some crazy treatments when you could have prevented all that. Right. Smoking cigarettes. Putting things into your sensitive lungs that this vessel was given to us, my man. We didn't create it. and it works on its own on autopilot. Like I don't have to tell myself right now to breathe. It's doing it on its own. Atmospheric pressure, my lungs and diaphragm are working to keep me alive.
Right.
And in that exchange, it's allowing to take the carbon monoxide out and take in the oxygen. And my heart is pumping. I don't even have to tell it. There's an electrical charge coming from my brain to my heart saying pump,
Right.
pump, pump, pump. And now that blood is going around taking nutrition and oxygen and taking crap out. And my kidneys are collecting them and filtering them out and making me urinate afterwards. I don't even have to worry about the hardest part, which is survive. My job is to protect this vessel so that it can give me the longest mileage ever.
Yeah.
You beat your car, the pedal to the metal, that car's gonna need maintenance very quickly.
Right.
You don't do its oil change on a regular time, that motor's gonna take a beating.
Yeah.
You don't shift those gears correctly, the transmission's gonna get hurt. My man, why ain't we taking care of ourselves? Health is wealth.
Right.
It's expensive to be sick.
Yeah, that's for sure.
This country doesn't even have the best health insurance coverages.
Yeah.
Healthcare is expensive. So prevent it. Drink water, stay hydrated.
Yeah, work out, go to the gym, go for walks.
Eat healthier.
Something.
So
Right.
There's this physical health, there's also that mental health, there's that emotional health, there's that spiritual health, there's that relationship health that translates to the wealth. And if you're talking about generational wealth, how do you expect the next generation to sustain and not lose that wealth where it slips between the cracks because they didn't prepare to sustain that wealth?
Right.
See what I'm
I
saying?
see what you're saying, yeah. No, it makes sense too.
So it's you got to be a well-rounded individual. That's why I'm talking about the wealthness wheel, covering all those things. A wheel turns, it rolls easier. A block doesn't. You got to push it because there's 4 corners.
Right.
A triangle is the same problem.
Right.
You got to constantly work on all those over and over.
Every single thing, yeah.
So you're running and taking care of it, and you're moving, and then. As a child, we know things are an uphill thing, an uphill battle, an uphill journey,
Right.
right? There's gonna be pain and sorrows, happiness and joys, moments that are up and moments that are down. Now, how do you get up that mountain or that hill? One foot in front of the other.
Just keep moving.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's grow. At some point, you're gonna be halfway through the mountain. You're gonna look back like, look how far we've come.
Yeah. That's
Look
true.
how much more we got to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And if you got good people with you who have been protecting their health, mentally, emotionally, coaches and cheerleaders and mentors, then you got, we got invigorated. We just recharged this battery. Let's go.
Keep it going.
Right?
Yeah.
And you get up to the mountain. Once you've been up to that mountain, you see other mountains. You're like, I can do those mountains. I might need a little bit of gear. I might need to rest. I might need to regroup. But I can do those mountains. Your confidence level went up.
Right.
You
And that all started kind of mentally, right? It's almost kind of like, I feel like with today's world, right, where it's so busy, right? Everyone's so busy. We're all over the place. Our phones are dinging all day long. Everything, right? Where it's almost kind of like you focus so much on, hey, just get the work done and everything else will work out great. And it's kind of like we've disregarded the, hey, health, right? My mental health, my physical health. It's kind of like we push that stuff to the side to focus on the grind and the work and the day-to-day. And then, right, years go by and you're like, oh my goodness, what is going on, right? I don't feel good, or maybe I'm not happy, whatever it is. And you kind of lose that momentum. Yeah. And I think you need that momentum, right, to get over those hurdles, get to the top of that mountain.
Absolutely.
Right, you
absolutely.
got to take those steps.
Look, you're going to get up that mountain even easier next time around. Think about it. Is it easier to get up that mountain in one wheel or 4 wheels?
4 wheels, baby.
Wheels. So those wheels are the other set of skills that you acquire, the people on this journey with you.
Right.
Each mountain is going to get easier
Right.
because you're creating a more efficient tool, a more efficient vehicle, right? Like we can go to California walking barefoot. It's not impossible.
Right.
It's going to take some time. We can jog.
Could do that, yeah.
Right? But we're going to have to rest and account for, energy, etc. and replenishing. We can bike. We can take a motorcycle. We can ride the car, like we said in the analogy earlier. Oh, get this. We can take an airplane and get there in a couple of short hours.
Yeah.
So as we continue this journey, it's important.
Yeah.
When we're talking about the circle, two things that we can't forget. Telling people what we really believe and feel about them and vice versa while they're still here,
Right.
alive. You hear the most amazing eulogies and comments and responses that people leave on social media when someone passes unexpectedly or way before their time, according to what we expect life expectancy to be, or
Right.
even if of old age. And they'll say, they were great, made me laugh, inspired me. We had these memories. This, I wish, and it's emotional, and we cry, and all this stuff. They can't hear you. Tell it to them while they're alive, while we're still here. Tell the people you love that you love them. Settle and reconcile. Forgive. Do it for yourself. Do it for your emotional well-being. Do it for each other. Because those are little things that are going to get in the way of your journey to the promised land and where you're trying to go.
Right.
Tell your parents you love them. Tell your children, your siblings that you love them. Hug them, kiss them, give them the gifts now. Take them to the places you want to take them. Show them the places you want to show them. Expose them to the things you want to expose them. It's too late when they're in a casket and they're going 6 feet underground. You're like, I wish I would have taken my parents to this country. I wish I would have done this with my siblings.
Right.
Do it now. Plan for it. If you're in a toxic environment at work, get out of that work. Forget the paycheck. This isn't about being rich. This isn't about wealth accumulation. This isn't about acquiring all this material stuff. This is about cracking the code, breaking the cycle of poverty, the pursuit of happiness, acquiring financial freedom, taking back your time because you only have so much of it. Do you really want to work until you're 67 and then maybe enjoy 10 more years of life? I'm trying to get to retirement as quickly as possible, create passive income of 10 grand a month. That's not rich money. Maybe it's a lot of money for some of us and other people, but that ain't rich money. But if it pays my bills and it allows me to enjoy life, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't want a bigger boat. I don't even have a boat. I'm not looking for watches or necklaces or cars or mansions. I just want to travel. I just want to eat food. I just want to create memories. I just want to do everything that the world has to offer me because I was born in one of the best times of humankind civilization. We got technology. I can go anywhere in the world in an airplane. I don't have to spend my life farming the land to feed myself. I can go to the supermarket and buy the food. The world is full of gifts. The hard work has been done by those before us. Don't let their sacrifice go in vain. Stop being complacent. Stop being comfortable. You can't grow unless you put yourself to a little bit of uncomfortness. Like working out, you go to the gym. How do you get stronger? You got to pick up that dumbbell and curl it a few times so you send a signal to your central nervous system that this 20 pounds is kind of hard.
Right.
But you feed yourself and you rest and you get better at it, 20 pounds becomes too easy.
Then you build up. Keep going.
It's no
Get
different with
stronger.
your comfort zone and everything else. A little pain. It's okay. Pain and gain. Let's go. Let's grow.
Love it.
And I want to help people do that too because I understand that I need to help others level up so that I too can level up. I do this 100% commission. I know that's scary for a lot of people. I'm not going to lie, it's a little scary for me at times. No base salary, no comfortable guaranteed paycheck. My motivation is becoming the better version of myself on a daily basis for you, to bring value to you, to advise you, like I would advise my parents who came here 40 years ago and didn't have any advisors to tell them, this is how credit works in this country. This is how you budget. Live below your means and invest the rest. Buy some real estate. Buy some of this. Buy some Coca-Cola. Buy some Apple. Buy some IBM. Buy some Microsoft. They miss those days. They miss those opportunities. Are you missing opportunities today? Come on, you're smart enough to realize that what's going on right now, this uncertainty, is more of a sense of urgency. What are the next emerging markets? Where are the next Googles and Apples and Facebooks coming from? They're being created right now to solve those problems that we're facing. And real estate, it's real and it's here to stay.
Yeah, forever.
There's not enough real estate. And you're always going to need a place to live. And so will everyone else around you. Going back to what I was saying earlier, tell those that you love them now while they're alive and here. If you send the biggest bouquet with flowers, who cares? It doesn't matter. So everyone can say, oh my God, look, you got the biggest bouquet. That's a beautiful piece. I ain't trying to mock, but let's just keep it real, man. The $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 you're spending on the bouquet to tell them you love them, spend it with them now. Go to Cape Cod. Go to Montreal, Quebec City, upstate New York City, Washington, D.C. Heck, leave the country if you have a passport and see the rest of the world. Be cultured. Expand your horizon. Do it now when you have energy. Not when you're 60, 70, or 80 and you're tired, or maybe sick because you've been spending every weekend doing a slow suicide with alcohol because you think it's great to drink alcohol and pop bottles. You may not have gotten an A+ in science, but I think you understood that alcohol is used to kill bacteria and clean surfaces. What do you think it's doing to your body? It's not on the food pyramid. It doesn't hydrate you, it dehydrates you. So why is that so cool to get drunk with your friends on purpose? Let's get blasted. Yeah. You need new friends. Don't kid yourself to tell yourself, I'm gonna live to be 90 years old healthy. And right now when you're in your 20s, you're not sleeping, you're not eating right, and you're getting drunk. Come on, man. Change your circle. Change your habits. Don't expect things to change just because one day you're going to wake up and you're 30 or you're 40 or you're 50. Take responsibility. 2030 is 8 years away or less whenever you're listening to this, and I hope you are, because this is timeless. It doesn't matter what day we timestamp this. This message is relevant. I'm sure it's the same conversations, more or less, that my father was having over 40 years ago. Take action now so you don't become the stereotype of that grumpy old man who's pissed off at the younger generation because we're destroying. No, man, the world's going to continue to evolve with or without us. Innovation is going to continue to happen. Technology is going to continue to disrupt and take away jobs. Music's going to change. Movies are going to change. People are going to dress differently. Pursuit of happiness. Go after it. Buy your financial freedom now. Invest your money. Make it work for you. Stop trading it. Getting sick in the process. So tell the people that you're with, that you love them, tell them now. Make it happen. And one of the best ways you can tell them you love them is sharing this kind of message with them. With your children, with your unborn grandchildren, or great-great-grandchildren. That's your legacy. Make it a habit. Break the cycle of poverty. It needs to happen with you. You're self-aware. Don't let that slip. Make it happen.